Greetings, fans. Welcome again to the massive hit cricket show. Well, Tim David pummeled the West Indies to all parts of Warner Park yesterday, and West Indians are known for we're known for the big hitting. We're known for hitting the ball out the ground and creating that buzz, creating that excitement, and although we were under the receiving end last night, you could tell that some of the fans in Warner Park enjoyed some of what they saw from Tim David. 102 runs from 37 deliveries. Some of the cleanest hitting that you'll see in cricket. We're obviously we're disappointed as Caribbean fans. This is the third straight T20 that we're losing. Um, we lost three test matches against Australia. We have not won a toss actually. All tour. So we have lost the toss six times, and we've lost all the games. Uh Tough, very very tough for the West Indies. And we're gonna talk a little bit about sort of the game and break it down just a little bit. And from the West Indian batting performance right through. And before I say what I'm about to say about the West Indies batting performance, because I don't believe that we maximized as far as our batting is concerned. We could have probably done a little bit better. But this bowling is absolute trash. And that's really where we lost the game. We lost the game in the bowling department. Um, you could tell me it's Warner Park. You could tell me it's a good pitch. It's a small ground. We're aware of these factors. But 215 runs, if you're a competent international team, if you're a competent white ball bowling unit, if you're making if you're making plans and sticking to those plans and executing effectively and efficiently, then you should be able to either defend 215 or put up a good fist of it. It should never be a walkover. And that was a walkover. That was a complete and utter walkover. Um, we were just poor. We were just poor with the ball. Um, Jedi Blades, a youngster who I feel we should persist with, and give him some opportunities, give him some reps in his first game. 3 overs, 40 runs at an economy of 13. Bowled a good second over, which only went for 5 runs. Um, Under the circumstances, um, and based on what we saw from the rest, for a debutant, I would say he was okay, right? There were times when he was bowling that wide line with pace on, which obviously he needed not to give the batsman so much room. Glenn Maxwell obviously guided him to the third man area a couple times. But all in all, I think we can definitely. Well, look, we definitely need something. We definitely need to find some bowlers. We need to find something. So I'm willing to give this youngster a chance. Give him a run. Let him get some reps and see what he can bring to the table. Jason Holder went at 11.6. I think Holder, for the most part, has been okay with the ball without being spectacular. Akil Hussain went at 9.75. There are a couple of bad overs in there, but overall, probably not too terrible based on the circumstances. Moti, awful last night. One of our better bowlers, but he was just awful. 2 overs for 38. And Chase, I felt, was used at the wrong time. Just a bad matchup for Chase. And the Australian commentator that was on at the time said, this over is going to win the game or potentially lose the game. That was the over that Australia knew that they wanted to target. In fact, Tim David, who was on strike at the start of the over, did not hit the first ball for six. There was a single to be had Ball was hit down to the boundary, and Tim David decided to refuse the single because he wanted a piece of chase, right? So, I mean, it could go either way, but essentially, that was the situation. So yeah, the bowling was poor. We're gonna have to really reshape this bowling. I mean, it's been happening for a long time. West Indies broke a record, an unenviable record of being the team that has failed to defend the most 200 plus run scorers. We have now failed to defend over 200 times. So, not a record that we would want to have. It tells us something about our bowling unit. I mean, the men lie, women lie, numbers don't, is the old saying. So, something is going to have to be done about this bowling unit because this bowling attack, not going to win many games, definitely not going to challenge to win a World Cup next year. So, we're going to have to make some adjustments where this bowling is concerned. Now, let's talk about our batting approach. Evan Lewis again out. Evan Lewis has had a um, unenviable, I'm gonna say, unenviable fitness record. He's out very often. One of the better batsmen in the West Indies team, perhaps. I'm actually gonna call Evan Lewis the best or best T20 batsman when he's playing. Right, in terms of his record tells you high strike rate, good average. Um, he bats deep when he gets in, so he does score hundreds. And whenever Evan Lewis scores runs, the West Indies tend to win. Right, so excellent player. But he really misses a lot of games. So Evan Lewis has to work on whatever is causing him to be injured so often. I think now he has a wrist injury, so probably a little bit different. But the fact remains, Evan Lewis isn't able to stay on the park as much as he should. So again, we had Brandon King, Shea Hope opening the batting. We didn't lose much there. Brandon King and Shea Hope were brilliant. They put on 125 in 11 overs. So nothing to complain about. Brilliant partnership. Brandon King, as always, regal. Just tremendous knock. 66 off 36, six maximums. Um, Brandon King was powerful, stylish, um, intimidating. I would say, Shea Hope, a brilliant 100, 102 off 57. Hitmeyer came in, hit a six, got out. He got nine. Rutherford got 12 or 13. Rutherford was run out in the most ridiculous way. I mean, I was happy to see Rutherford coming out a bit earlier um, yesterday, but he started okay. Um, tried to get him, knock a couple around, get himself in, which I think that's the way Rutherford has to play. But the way he got out towards the end of his innings was a little bit strange. He missed a few balls, um, which you felt he could have put away, and then was just run out in the most schoolboyish fashion. Hit the ball to mid off and essentially jogged and allowed them to run him out. I'm not sure what Rutherford was trying to do there. There was no attempt to get to the next end. No sprint, no dive. So very, very disappointing. It's one of those things that it's one of those schoolboyish moves that a strong coach just decides I'm going to drop a player because he didn't show enough commitment to the cause, so to speak. Um, I do feel that when Robman came out, 18.2 overs were gone, and Robman is a powerful player, but my assessment of Robman's batting is he does need with 10 balls to go. Robman is a powerful player, but Robman to me is someone who needs um a little bit of time to get in, and then he can really show his power. Rovman needs to knock around a few. And I feel that the man who is able to really strike from ball one is Romari Shepherd. At that point, I did feel as Romari Shepherd should come in. I'm even gonna say Shea Hope right at the end there. Obviously with batting the entire innings, maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in. Um, you know, perhaps could have considered retirement, with 6, 7 deliveries to go to get a couple of these fresh guys in to really go at it. So I felt the Western is left, 15, maybe 15, 20 runs out there. Um, so, saying that, yes, the Western is, and Shea Hope in his interview after the game did say that he felt the Western is didn't get enough runs. I'm not really gonna say they didn't get enough runs because again, you should be able to give a good account of yourself defending 215. I am, however, gonna say the opportunity was there to get a bit more runs, right? The opportunity was there to get 230, 235, somewhere around there. But that doesn't we still can't escape the fact that the bowling in a white ball cricket is just horrendous. It is horrendous. And we saw this in England. We failed to defend 300 in the 1 days a number of times. So the bowling is horrendous. We can't get away from it. Um, so, we have this conundrum where in Test cricket, the bowling is good, the batting is poor. In in um in white ball cricket, it's a complete opposite. Bowling is poor, batting is pretty good. So something that the West Indies are going to have to deal with. Not sure where we go, but we have to look at more specialist options in T20 cricket. I think the Western is, obviously in our sort of goat era or era where Western is T20 cricket, was good when we won World Cups. We won World Cups with a lot of bits and pieces, guys, and maybe we're trying to go with the same template, but the T20 has moved on. It's moved on over the years. It's a different game. The game is more strategic, and you only have to look at the best teams in the world. And Darren Ganga made a really good point on commentary last night. The game is so skewed in the favor of batting and batsmen. The white ball game. The game is skewed. So the better teams are going to be the teams that um, that strive to make sure that they have that their bowling is actually ahead of their batting. It means you can get away with batting that is not necessarily the best because the game is skewed, so you will still get runs, right? The outfields are small, outfields are fast, the pitches are flat, so you can still get away, right? You can still get away because there's not much in there for the bowlers. But you need bowlers now who are able to to get results when conditions are out of their favor, which means you need the best bowling, right? If you take a look at a lot of the domestic tournaments, the teams with the best bowling, these are the teams that are winning. You look at a team like Australia. Once they get to world events, they're playing their top test attack, right? It's no longer bits and pieces, guys. It's it's Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood. These are the guys that are playing. You look at India. It's Arshdeep, it's Bumrah, it's Shami. These are the guys that are playing. So if the West Indies are going to compete, um, you know, we're looking at Holder, we're looking at um, Shepherd, and then somewhere between Alzari, Jediah Blades, and these guys. I mean, so Western we're gonna need more as far as that pace bowling attack is concerned. We 100%. uh, I- I'm sure we recognize this before now, and Sammy has said it a number of times. But we're gonna need we desperately need a wicket taking spinner, a mystery or a leg spinner of some ilk. That is something that we're gonna need, because we definitely need to take wickets in this format to win games. So I mean, a lot of work for this team to do. Where the West Indies have lost the series, so we're down 3-0 in this series. Um, yeah, so there's right now it's really about, it's about pride more than anything else, right? We're not worried about World Cup qualification because we're already qualified for the World Cup, but this team has to gain some confidence. This team has to start winning some games. So we're to start winning some games so that, to for the team to gain some confidence. For Shea Hope as a new leader, it can be easy. It can be easy for Shea Hope as a new leader to have lost pretty much every single T20 game except one against Ireland. Um, People are already calling for his head. It's his second series against a top opposition, right? And I the pressure is probably already getting to him, right? He's lost in the 1 day format as well, and he just made a return to Test cricket. That team is losing also, so I think the pressure can get to you very very quickly. So the Westerners need to win some games to really turn that whole equation around quickly. All right. I think the next game comes up at Warner Park. Let me check to see when the next game comes up at Warner Park. The next game comes up at Warner Park. Oh, that's tonight. So tonight at 7 p.m. we'll have the next game at Warner Park. Let's hope the Westerners can win this one. I think we have to win a toss. Shea Hope needs to win a toss first. If we can win a toss, then we might be able to do something. All right. So let's see. I hope we continue to give the young Jedi Blades a run. We want to see what this youngster can do. I know it's going to be tough. We don't expect magic, but we got to give him a run. See what he can do. All right. That's it. That's it for now. Let's wait for later. But yeah, the three 6 losses on the bones in a home tour. That's where the Westerners are right now. So hey, we have to get something. We have to get a win today. All right. So yeah, man, that's it for now. Massive hit cricket. See you next time.